What up, YouTube? T Movies here with his new film titled A Rainy Day in New York. Premiering on VOD now. And I know he's a bit of a controversial person, like a controversial figure and all. I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Woody Allen movies. All right, I know when you think of Woody Allen, I would say up front is a real creep story. I mean, he did literally marry his stepdaughter and stuff like that, which is a bit awkward to talk about Woody Allen because he's always been news because the Me Too movement and all. But that aside, I would say that Allen's film work is pretty solid. I mean, he's worked with some pretty talented people, and he has a pretty cool track record. I mean, Woody Allen has, of course, been doing has been in the entertainment business for years and years, like for decades and all that. So, with that being said, here's my top 10 favorite Woody Allen movies. Alright. Coming in at number 10, I'm going to go with the film titled Manhattan Murder Mystery. Now, Woody Allen's done some pretty decent movies set in New York City. And this is a bit of a pretty cool whodunit murder mystery based film. It's like in the vein of Agatha Christie tales. It's also in the vein of Murder on the Orient Express, Clue. Of course, Knives Out was a pretty good one. I mean, I am a bit of a sucker for these whodunit murder mystery films. And here you've got this couple played by Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, who are adjusting to life when their son is away at college when they end up meeting their old neighbor named Lillian House, played by the late Lynn Cohen, as well as her husband Paul, played by Jerry Adler, and they end up appearing on hearing the news of Lillian's sudden death, and Kara ends up growing suspicious because they end up believing that Paul might actually ended up killing his own wife, so it turns out to end up being like a whodunit murder mystery film. Manhattan Murder Mystery had a pretty cool cast. Like, you also had Alan Alda, Angelica Houston. I believe Diane Keaton actually either scored or won an Oscar for this. I can't remember between the two. Diane Keaton and Woody Allen obviously have worked together a couple of times. Not to mention, you also got Joy Behar was also in this. A very young Zach Braff was here in this. I always keep forgetting Zach Braff was in this movie. Like, this was, of course, years before, he became in Scrubs and all that. But that aside, Manhattan Murder Mystery is a really cool treasure. It's really fun. I mean, it keeps you guessing from beginning to end, like, who really killed Lillian and all. And it's a really good one. If you guys haven't seen Manhattan Murder Mystery, it's actually a Woody Allen film that rarely gets talked about, but it's a pretty decent one. Alright. Coming in at number 9, I'm going to go with Mighty Aphrodite. Now, this actually won Maria Sorrento her first ever Oscar. And I believe this scored a couple other Oscar nominations, if I'm not mistaken. And here you got this couple named Lenny, played by Woody Allen, and Helena Bonham Carter, who ends up adopting a baby. And so, Lenny, played by Allen, realizes that his son is a genius and becomes obsessed with finding the boy's biological mother in hopes that she will, wants to be brilliant. But they end up learning that the kid's mother is Linda Ash, played by Maria Sorrento, who's just a kind-hearted prostitute and a porn, as well as a porn star. So Lenny ends up determined to reform her immoral lifestyle, and this becomes an interesting Greek mythology, quirky comedy. Maria Sorrento. This actually really was a movie that put Sorrento on the map. Like, of course, she's Hollywood royalty. I mean, she's, of course, she is the daughter of Paul Smith, something like that. This film also featured a really cool cast. Like besides, Allen and Carter and Sorrento, you also had Michael Rappaport, Pierre Weller was in this, Paul Giamatti, Tony Serco, Olympia Dukakis. You had F. Murray Abraham, some really great cast members, and if you, it's very funny, it's very quirky. If you guys never really seen Mighty Aphrodite yet, go check it out. It's a really good Woody Allen flick. Coming in at number 8, I'm gonna go with Hannah and Her Sisters. Now, this is actually the film that won Michael Caine his Oscar, and it's about these three successful family Thanksgiving dinners who mark time for Hannah, played by Mia Farrow. And of course, Alan Anna Farrow was married, but yeah, I'm not going to go into their details. But anywho, uh, and her younger sisters, Lee, played by Barbara Hershey, and Holly, played by Diane Weiss, and the man of in their lives. And so, like, Lee ends up having an affair with Hannah's husband, Elliot, played by Michael Caine, and they're trying to end their Severgal like romance with this artist named Frederick, played by Max von Sydow. And of course, you got Woody Allen, who portrays the Hayek named Mickey. And this is I believe this got a couple of other Oscar nominations. I mean, I know that Michael Caine won his Oscar for this, which well deserved. Michael Caine was terrific in this one. Of course, you know, the late great Max von Sydow was terrific. You also had the late great Carrie Fisher. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in this one. You had Louis Black, John Turturro, the always great. That was raining. Anyway, you also had you know, the always great Dowell Stern, Louis Black. It's really funny. It has a really cool cast to it. I like the chemistry between the three sisters. Like I said, Mia Farrow, of course, you know, was married to Woody Allen, and she's of course worked with Woody Allen loads of times, and she was really good in this one. I mean, if you guys never really seen Hannah and Her Sisters yet, I'll say give it a shot. A really decent dysfunctional family-based film. All right, coming in at number 7, I'm gonna go with Everyone Says I Love You, which this film was actually Woody Allen's first ever musical, and who knew that Woody Allen could sing? I mean, granted, I'm pretty sure it wasn't his voice or anything, but you know, he could buzz out a tune in this one. And this film had a really cool cast. Like you had Goldie Hawn, Natasha Lyonne was in this. You also had Drew Barrymore, Tim Roth, Julia Roberts, Ed Norton, Alan Alda, Liv Tyler, Billy Crudup was in this. It's probably one of the most underrated and underappreciated musicals. I mean, it is a very slow paced musical, but it's a Woody Allen movie, so what are you gonna expect when it comes to a Woody Allen directed musical film? But it's where these the doors of these wealthies, you know, behaves. You got of course, you got a few folks that are trying to contend. Like you got Joe, played by Woody Allen, Steffi, played by Goldie Hawn, DJ, played by Natasha Lyonne, who ends up contending with you know the of course DJ, played by Lyonne, is trying to contend with her extended family after her parents' divorce. And so the entire clan is also a buzz about you know, pending a wedding of her half sister, named Scarlett, played by Drew Barrymore, and you got Ed Norton as her fiance, and you got Tim Roth as the gruff former criminal here, who also enters the picture. You got Julia Roberts, who was pretty great in this. I mean, this is a really decent musical based film. Woody Allen was pretty decent. Drew Barrymore, who knew that she could sing pretty well? Like, you know, I'll be down to check out Woody Allen do another musical, because whoever knew that he could do a musical very well. And Everyone Says I Love You is a pretty decent one. It's been a while since I've seen it, to be honest, yeah. But I remember really digging it when I first saw it. Alright, coming in at number 6, I'm going to go with Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Now, this is, of course, a quirky film about these Americans girls named Vicky, played by Rebecca Hart, and Christina, played by Scarlett Johansson, who arrive in Spain for the summer vacation at a friend's Barcelona home, and of course, friends played by Patricia Clarkson. And so they end up, meeting the seductive painter named Juan Antonio, played by Javier Bardem. who ends up inviting them for a weekend of food, art, and other stuff I'm not gonna mention. But Sparks ends up flying when his former lover, played by Penelope Cruz, also arrives. Okay, sorry guys, trying to make sure it's not raining. Felt like a drop, but whatever. Anyway, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, of course, obviously the best scene is the little threesome scene with with her, Cruz, and Bardem. That's probably the most iconic moment of that film. Javier Bardem was terrific. Penelope Cruz won her Oscar for this. So lots of people who Woody Allen have worked with have actually won Oscars for his film. So it's a little tip for you there, Chip. Yeah, it's very interesting melodrama. The performances by Scarlett Johansson, Javier Bardem, Patricia Clarkson, Penelope Cruz were all terrific. Of course, Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz are married in real life, so there's that. But anyway, if you guys haven't really seen Vicky Cristina Barcelona yet, it's a really decent one. All right, coming in at number 5, I'm gonna go with the film Blue Jasmine. Now, this was a film that won Cate Blanchett her Oscar, and you've got Cate Blanchett as this New York socialite woman named Jasmine who flees to San Francisco and to live in to end up moving with her sister played by Sally Hawkins, and of course you even got Andrew Dice Clay is also in this, who was Andrew Dice Clay really surprised me of how good he was. I mean, when I think of Andrew Dice Clay, I of course think of his Dirty Nursery Rhymes and all that. He really, between this and Stars Born, Andrew Dice Clay really surprised you as an actor. And Ida Clay was terrific. Bobby Cannavale was terrific. You also had Louis C.K. Alec Baldwin was in this film. I mean, it's probably one of Cate Blanchett's best performance in my opinion. I know she was remarkable. I mean, she definitely won her Oscar for a reason because her performance stands out really amazing. I mean, that woman had her character had loads of problems, but of course, she ended up having a marriage with Al Baldwin's character. That ends up collapsing, and she ends up going to a midlife crisis. I mean, definitely, definitely one of Blanchett's most finest work. And yeah, again, she's Cate Blanchett. She's always terrific. Alright. Coming in at number 4, I'm going to go with another Woody Allen movie with the word Manhattan in the title. And that is simply titled Manhattan. Now, okay, might have to move here a bit because I think it's about right. But anywho, uh, as I was saying, Manhattan, of course, is a love letter to New York City because obviously Woody Allen is from here and all. And here you got Allen who plays this frustrated television writer named Isaac Davis, who's this twice divorced American facing middle age alone after his wife Jill, played by Meryl Streep, leaves him for a woman, and so he is dating a fresh faced woman named Tracy, played by Mary Hemingway, who is this high school girl. He also knows as wrong for dating, and you also got Diane Keane is also in this. This movie is a bit of a controversial because I believe I'm trying to remember how old Woody Allen was when he did this. I think he was in his 40s when he did this movie, and his character ends up dating a high schooler. Obviously, in real life, that's sort of Woody Allen. That's sort of the Woody Allen controversy because in real life he also ended up dating a very younger girl. So yeah, I guess you could say Manhattan was built like Woody Allen's based on Woody Allen's life. I'll just put it that way. But that aside, it was still pretty decent. I mean, it was fully in black and white. Had some great performances. Meryl Streep and Woody Allen worked together. Interesting combo right there. Of course, Diane Keane, she worked really well here. Michael Murphy was also great in this film. I mean, yeah, if you guys haven't really seen the film, if you guys haven't really seen Woody Allen's film Manhattan yet, I'll say give it a shot. It's a bit of an awkward film to watch, especially what you know about Woody Allen now, but still pretty decent. Alright, coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with Midnight in Paris. Now, this movie scored loads of Oscar nominations. I believe it won Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars. You got Owen Wilson as a screenwriter and novelist named Gil Pender, who's vacationing in Paris with his fiancee, played by Rachel McAdams, and he ends up taking a touring to the city, and he ends up time traveling where he meets other writers. Like, he meets cultural heroes, including Ernest Hemingway, played by Corey Stowe, F. Scott Fitzgerald, played by Tom Hiddleston. You've got Kathy Bates as Gertrude Stein. You got Alison Pill as the role of Ella Fitzgerald. Um, yeah, you got lots of he ends up meeting like time traveling where he meets like iconic writers, and Owen Wilson was pretty good in this film. He worked pretty well with Woody Allen here. Of course, he also meets some he ends up meeting some jazz icons as well. He meets some interesting icons here, and Tom Hiddleston as F. Scott Fitzgerald. That was a pretty cool casting there too. Um, yeah, this is, I guess you could say, it's also like a love letter to Paris because the whole movie does take place in Paris, and this movie actually makes me want to visit Paris. Like, Paris seems like a cool place. But anywho, uh, yeah, probably one of Owen Wilson's best performance. I mean, it's a bit odd that he did not get no Oscar love because I know Owen Wilson was like, wow, he was terrific. No pun intended, but yeah. Anyway, if you guys haven't really seen Midnight in Paris yet, I'll say you give that one a shot. Alright, coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with the film Radio Days. Now, it's about this middle-aged man who looks back at his childhood in Rockaway, New York, as a series of vigilies focus on the golden age of radio. You got Woody Allen, who plays Joe, who's narrates, as portrayed as a teenager in the film by Seth Green. So Seth Green plays like a younger version of Woody Allen, which you could actually really see, like, you could totally see like Seth Green be like a very younger version of Woody Allen. And of course, you got Diane Weiss and Mia Farrow, who were of course in Hannah and her sisters. And you got like a pretty cool, some interesting virus stories, including like an unlikely aunt played by Diane Weiss, a cigarette girl played by Mia Farrow, with a career ambitious, and you also got two burglars with interesting timing. And young Joe ends up involving his friends into a scam to earn a decoy ring. You got some other cool players in this, like you got Larry David, uh, Marge Simpson herself, Julie Carver is in this, Diane Keaton, the late Rebecca Schaefer, Jeff Daniels, Wallace Shawn, the late Danny Aiello, Tony Roberts, Josh Mostel. You've got some really cool cast members. It's a really interesting, like, lots of really cool, interesting storylines featured in this. This was actually the movie that really put Seth Green on the map, like years before he was in, Austin Powers, Robot Chicken, Family Guy. He really started acting at a very young age, and Seth Green was amazing in this one. Like, if you guys never really seen Radio Days, go give it a shot. I mean, Woody Allen narrating this was pretty cool to hear. Alright. My number 1 favorite Woody Allen movie of all time goes to Annie Hall. Obviously, Annie Hall's his best work. Of course, this is another film that starred Woody Allen and Diane Keaton. This film actually won an Oscar for Best Picture, mainly. And fun fact, the film Annie Hall, you're never going to believe what film it actually beat out at the Oscar. Annie Hall was literally the movie that beat Star Wars at the Oscar for Best Picture. Just let that sink into your head. I mean, I still think Star Wars should have won Best Picture that year, but it doesn't take away how good Annie Hall is. I mean, Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, those two were powerhouses. Those two really worked well so darn good together. I mean, they've done so many films over the course of a years. Like, yeah, they worked together in loads of stuff. You know, of course, Radio Days. Lots of movies in this list features Diane Keaton. And of course, you got Woody Allen, who plays this comedian named Alvy Singer, who ends up examining the rise and fall of the relationship with this struggling nightclub singer named Annie Hall, played by Diane Keaton. And so, like, he ends up, you know, speaking directly into the audience in front of a bare background. And so, like, um, so he ends up reflecting briefly of his childhood and early adult years before settling in, and tell the story of how he and Annie met and fell in love. So this has lots of you know, flashbacks and all that. You got some really good supporting players, like besides Keaton and Allen. You also got Shelley Duvall, Carol Lane, Christopher Walken. I always keep forgetting Jeff Goldblum is in this. I think this was his first feature, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta double check that. The aforementioned Tony Roberts, Sigourney Weaver. You even had Paul Simon even had a role in this. Uh, yeah, some really, like, Woody Allen knows how to work well with players, and he did such a great job with Annie Hall. The interaction and dialogue chemistry between Woody Allen and Diane Keaton was pretty cool. Those, like I said, those two work really well together, and yeah, I mean, they, Keaton and Allen have worked together for decades and decades. I mean, those two had a pretty interesting friendship. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. All right. 10, Manhattan Murder Mystery. 9, Mighty Aphrodite. 8, Hannah and her sisters. 7, Everyone Says I Love You. 6, Vicky Cristina Barcelona. 5, Blue Jasmine. 4, Manhattan. 3, Midnight in Paris. 2, Radio Days. And number 1 is Annie Hall. Now, there's a few other ones I probably could have added. Let me pull up his credit list. Boy, Woody Allen said so many stuff. Anyway, Cafe Society is a pretty decent one. Wonder Wheel with Kate Winslet. Match Point. Oh yeah, he didn't direct it, but he actually lended his voice in the movie Ants, which does not get much love. Ants is awesome. Anyway, To Rome with Love is pretty good. Irrational Man with Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone's a pretty good one. Crimes and Mr. Maters. He did that movie Whatever Works with Larry David. That's a good one. He did a film called Sleeper. Magic in the Moonlight, also with Emma Stone. He did that Hugh Jackman movie Scoop. He did Small Time Crooks, Bananas, Celebrity. Discussion. Harry is a pretty good one. Husbands and Wives. Hollywood Ending. New York Stories is a pretty good one. The Curse of Jade Scorpions is a decent one. He did that Jason Biggs movie. Anything else? That's more people should check out anything else. Jason Biggs is pretty good in that one. You Will Meet as Tor Dog Stranger. He also appeared in the original Casino Royale, which is cool. He did Bullets Over Broadway. Cassandra's Dream. Shadows and Fox is a pretty good one. Boy, say whatever you want about Woody Allen's personal life and all that. The guy has an interesting film resume. I mean, he is. It is a shame that you know, filmmakers that have some really great work, whether you talk about Woody Allen and Roman Polanski and all that. Filmmakers like those have some great works, but they are not good people. You know, it's a real shame, but it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. Do you have, despite his personal life and all that, his personal life is a topic for another time. Do you guys have a favorite Woody Allen movie? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Simu signing off.